Welcome to our another edition of 49ers preview with here at the Cow Palace here in Daly City with your truly Professor B, along with former 49er and one-time Super Bowl champion Dennis Brown. The Niners getting ready to take on the Atlanta Falcons as the Dirty Birds invade the Bay Area for this important conference matchup, an old NFC West rival going back to the 80s and 90s, 70s, 80s, and 90s to the early part of the 2000s. It's going to be a 1:05 kickoff at Levi Stadium, and it will be on CBS, KPI CBS 5 locally. Niners sitting there at 7-6 with that thrilling win against the Bengals in overtime last Sunday, and we talked about it last week, Dennis. Anytime you play the Bengals in maybe the outside of the Cowboy-Steeler rivalry, Niners and Raiders, this Niner-Bengal rivalry is another short list of the best NFC, AFC interconference rivals in the National Football League.
Yeah, and it's interesting because there's a lot of history between Super Bowl history between the 49ers and Cincinnati. And again, like on Sunday, the 49ers come back and they win a close football game. So, it's good to go on the road, first of all, and get a win in the NFL. And it's good for this team right now because I think it was a character, kind of a builder. I think it was kind of a test to see what the 49ers were about. Your heart had to drop when Robbie Gould missed that field goal. But then to see the defense come out and only give up that field goal. Yeah, and then to see Jimmy Garoppolo on that offense come out and go right down the field, and then Brandon Ayuk score that touchdown was fantastic. So, now you have to come back home where you've had a tough time playing, to be very honest with you. And you're playing a team with the Atlanta Falcons. That's not, statistically, they're not a very good football team, but you do have Matt Ryan as quarterback, a veteran quarterback. We know when Colt McCoy came into Levi Stadium, once you get into a rhythm as a quarterback and you're in NFL, you can kind of eat up a secondary. So it's going to be a challenge yet again for the 49ers. And we're really going to see if this is a playoff team, because playoff teams beat teams that they're supposed to beat.
And protect the home field as well.
Exactly. So it's going to be a kind of a show, a test to see what this Niner team is really about. This is the end of the football season. All wins count. You got to start stacking some wins right now. We'll see what they do.
I always say the baseball theory: the holiday season is the last month is like the holiday season, shopping season is like a baseball pennant race.
Right.
This is like the sprint to the finish. I mean, this is technically the last full calendar week of shopping season.
Yeah.
And then, this is where the pros take over. This is similar to like football, where you position yourself. And you've been on that side numerous times this time of the year in the past, where you play your best football, position yourself to win a division, get a bye, and have home field advantage throughout the entire playoff tournament of the NFC and the other opponent for the AFC.
Yeah. And, 49ers right now, you're not going to win your division.
No, we know that. That's gone.
You're not going to get a bye. You're going to have to go on the road. And you're going to have to play a team.
Dirty work.
And that's what you got to do. And you talk about position yourself. You had an opportunity. Now it's about if you can make it. Now, we're talking playoffs now, Professor. But remember, you got to win some football games still.
Yep.
You're in the playoffs right now. You control your own destiny right now. But you got to win these football games.
That's
right.
You
got to go on the road again and, play Texans. But then you got to come back and play some
Titans,
tough Titans. That's going to be a tough football. So you got to kind of do it week by week.
Yep.
And this is going to be an important week because this is the team you should beat. Statistically, the 49ers should beat up on this team. Yep. But if you come out and you're not ready and you're not focused, like I said, you have a veteran quarterback in Matthew Ryan. I mean, he's not the greatest. He's not having the greatest season, but he's a veteran. And your secondary is questionable. Yeah. So you got to play well. You got to win this week. You got to win next week. And if you want to position yourself, but you're going to go on the road. If you make it to the playoffs, you're going on the road.
Only two of the final three is at home, and then that's it. That's it. And then, like you did, then the dirty work starts. Then you really got to get very serious if you want to make a deep run in the playoffs or, compete for a championship. So, and then, let's talk about the Falcons. You were involved in a lot of games involved the Falcons, and I think there's one game I remember. It was a game, the Hail Mary heartbreaker at the old Fulton County Stadium, where the Niners outplayed them in that game. John Taylor had a 95 or 96-yard touchdown reception, still the franchise all-time record. You faced Deion Sanders and Andre Rison and Brian Jordan, that Falcon team in '91 that kept you guys out of the playoffs. And me, to this day, still say that was probably the best Niner team not to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and the history, because people don't know that Atlanta Falcons used to be in our division,
and so is the Saints.
Yeah, and we played them twice a season. Like you talk about now, like with the Seahawks, we played them twice a year. So it was always kind of a rivalry. It was always a tough game. They had Deion at one point.
He returned a kickoff that year.
Yes,
100 yards for a touchdown, and he, I think, burnt you guys on another kickoff in the Georgia Dome as well.
Yeah. So there's some deep history here, and we remember, even the Candlestick. That was that last football game. But last year, I don't know if you remember, it was on the,
Due to the technical problems with our video, the final portions of this podcast will be on as audio version. That was 49ers former Super Bowl champion Dennis Brown. The 49ers will be back in action taking on the Atlanta Falcons at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara for this critical Week 15 matchup. This is a very important game for San Francisco. They sit right now at 6th with a 7-6 record, 6th spot for the wild card, for the second wild card spot. They'll take on the Falcons. It'll be a 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time kickoff time. They'll honor two 49ers from the past. John Taylor, a former 3-time Super Bowl champion, and former All-Pro Patrick Willis will be honored into the 49ers Hall of Fame. There will also be a John Taylor Patrick Willis cheer banner giveaway. Purchase your tickets at 49ers.com. The Niners will be on as the kickoff 105. Catch it in the Bay Area on KPIX CBS 5. Call the game for CBS Sports will be the veteran Kevin Harlan along with Trent Green. The game will also be on the Niners flagship, the U.S. Bank 49ers Radio Network at KNBR 680 AM, 104.5 FM, and 107.7 FM as Greg Papa and Tim Ryan with the play-by-play in action. Catch NBC's Bay Area's 49ers Live, hosted by Miss Laura Brett, along with Dante the Hitman Whitner, along with Joe Staley and Takeo Spikes. That will be at 12 noon Pacific. And catch 49ers postgame live as well, immediately following the Niners-Falcons game on NBC Sports Bay Area. Catch the 49ers pregame live online on 49ers.com, hosted by 49ers senior writer and reporter Miss Kiana Martin, along with Dennis Brown. That will be at 12 noon live on 49ers.com. And 49ers Tailgate, hosted by yours truly, Brian Professor B. Davis on Niners Radio. That will be a holiday edition, will be at Empire Row and at the blue and green lots right before kickoff. We'll have a lot of holiday edition and so much more. Check us out on Niners Tailgate Live coming up. That will be on Niners Radio. Check us out go to YouTube and click to Niners Radio. For the latest news on 49ers and so much more, and they're up as they continue to build for their stretch drive towards the playoffs, go to 49ers.com. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis. Thank you for watching and listening to 49ers Radio Preview on Niners Radio. Niners Radio is an association with the Satellite Digital Media News Network. 49ers football, celebrating 75 years or forever faithful to the Bay. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis, and thank you for listening.